It's more of a question. Are you sure what you're talking about is doable? It seems to be just a theory.
We have technology right now which is changing and empowering humans, and people are communicating at the speed of light, and many wonderful outcomes are just upon us. So the question really is how that is going to continue and unfold in a very favourable and optimal way for everybody. So we're in the process of it, and as there are many different types of people and thinkers, to take oneself out of it a little bit and to see where it's going and to see the crash course, and then to sort of get a sense, an externalized sense in vis-a-vis the past and history and civilization and ideas and morals, and where it can lead through the horror stories of a potential AI takeover and enslavement of humanity to AI and those types of horror stories.
So how do you avoid that scenario?
Well, it seems again to understand the entire picture, and then to sort of construct the most favourable way for humanity. And presently, the situation where there's very powerful governments which are controlling in tools which could just as easily be used by individuals to empower each other in a responsible way to achieve individual goals. So presently, it is only part of the story of the unfolding. I don't think that these tools should be in the hands of government, purely in the hands of government. As I've said earlier, and it's really a critical part of any conversation. These types of tools need to be in the hands of individuals.
What kind of tools are you talking
We're talking about the right to use your telephone, the right to use data, the right to use your data, the right to have all your data, and not that the companies who control the internet or the satellite companies control own your data, but rather you, an individual. I think it would have to come down to some form of legislation on the right to own one's own data about themselves and the interaction of the data. Now, it's a very complicated subject.
It's a market. Everybody has his own contract, and they're giving you the contract. If you want to sign and use their product, sign. If you don't want to sign, don't sign.
Well,
you have the option.
It really is. It's going to be a wonderfully complicated philosophic question, because our data, as we are every human as we are today, there's a lot of inflowing of materials. There's a lot of bacteria and viruses and winds and ephemerons and chemicals and a lot happening between us. Other than, and not to speak of consciousness and this conversation and there's a lot happening with you separately and with me separately, and they're all they're
so what if it's not happening, what does it help?
So
okay, I'm saying that you seem to be in a certain level of understanding. You're seeing the reality with some eyes of the future, and the question is this the right version? Is this not another utopia? That the things are just going to simply become like you imagine them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
it's a perfect...
Yeah. I mean, you're very right in asking, is this just another utopian story? I'd be tempted to say yes. And it is yes. I think genuinely that with the ages of AI, we can really solve the critical problems.
When?
Right now.
Right now.
Well, I mean, it's just about.
So, okay, so who's going to do it?
Well, I mean,
How are we going
to? It's a structuring of individual groups because it's such a big, and as we've talked about, the physical reality is infinite in any direction. So the question is how to map out infinity. How to.
But it's too big.
Well,
why are you going for the infinity?
There are theorists which have been discussing this. It's a big discussion. We just talk.
But why should you go all the way to the infinity? We want to do some basic relationship and friendships and fix some things using artificial intelligence. We are not going that far away to get to the infinity. We just want to do some simple computations to solve practical problems.
That is, I think that today there are private companies and the free market structure is good enough to incentivize the solution to many of our problems. What I'm surprised of is why it's not happening quicker, and I'm really looking for where the drag is. Who's to blame for the drag? Because there we now have a handle on the formation of reality. Information now, there should be no reason why you shouldn't find the structures to deploy skills and instruments to any situation. And if that's not happening, where is the fault? I am led to believe that the existing political administration is in the balance and remains wanting.
I'm saying there's no one to blame if there's something better to invent, something better to propose. It should be structured and proposed.
What time is it? How long have we been going for?